How did the team go from scoring 264 in one game to just 75 in the second? Why Eoin Morgan's pitch report might not have been that of the mark? And where does that leave the teams on the points table? All this and much more in today's episode of the 23rd Yard Club Cricket Podcast. The pendulum oscillates between two extremes, and at times, teams in the IPL bat like that as well. Just 2 days after posting what was then the highest score of the season, this IPL, Delhi Capitals floundered terribly, getting bowled out for 75 and losing to RCB with 14 overs to spare. It was a loss that plunges their net run rate to minus 1.06, which is worse than two of the three teams who were behind them on the table. There are three teams in all. What went wrong? The Arun Jaitley Stadium in Delhi saw an interruption in play because of a dust storm, but the Capitals' defeat was down to a perfect storm of events. In one of my previous videos, I had mentioned about the reading of pitches and how at times, even experts and commentators who are at the ground, who are at pitch side, get it wrong. Take a listen. What's not quite possible, however, is to read pitches before the game has begun from one's drawing room. And while it becomes a lot easier when one is in the middle, there are still a few unknowns that captains and coaches need to deal with when they're having a look at these pitches. Even commentators and other experts watching the game get it wrong at times. Which is why yesterday it was fascinating to watch Ravi Shastri interview Ashwini Kumar at the end of the CSK innings. He asked Ashwini Kumar pointedly about the pitch and acknowledged that it did not look like a typical high-scoring 1KD1. During comms last night, Eoin Morgan expressed his shock at the way Delhi had gone about their business on what he termed as a good batting surface by all accounts. He went on to say that he had spoken to a few locals and even the curator who reckoned that it is a very solid pitch for batters. Here's what Morgan had said during his pitch report.
Typically, the 6 to 8 meter length is where you want to be, honing in on that length for as long as possible. Here at Delhi, that length gets smacked. Batters really cash in. That's how big a surface for batters it is here. The pitch itself actually looks a little bit drier than normal, particularly on a length here, so it'll be interesting to see if we get anything to bite, either for the spinners or slower balls off the pacers.
As I said, reading pitches isn't an exact science, and while an experienced player and a coach will get it right more often than not, there are a few factors one cannot account for. On a given day, bowlers could extract more swing than is usual because the direction of wind or the amount of humidity is exactly how much they want. On a given day, bowlers could also get it exactly right in terms of their run-up, their wrist position, their ball landing, their overall rhythm. And on a given day, you could have the batters switched off when all of this is happening as well. All of the rest of the things are happening as well. All of these factors together could discount whatever one might think of the surface before the start of the game and cause that perfect storm every now and then. But what's interesting to note here is what Morgan said about the bowling lengths itself. He referred to those good 6 to 8 meters lengths being easy to hit off. If you look at the wicket deliveries themselves, I think he was on the right track. Sahil Parag, for example, was bowled off a Yorker. KL Rahul and Nitish Rana felled by devious short of length balls. And Sameer Rizvi, he edged one that was pitched right up to him. All gone to either Yorkers, foolish length balls, or short of length deliveries. None of them to the typical 6 to 8 meters mark, a good length ball. Later, Hazlewood also come back to get rid of Delhi's top scorer Abhishek Porel, and that was again to a Yorker. In all, 5 of the 7 wickets pocketed by the Hazlewood-Bhuvneshwar combo came not of deliveries bowled on good length. In short, Morgan was probably right on the mark there when he spoke about the good length being a good length for the batsmen, not really for the bowlers.
Yeah.
It was obviously not just about bowling those lengths, because bowling whatever length without getting any kind of lateral movement becomes an easy hit in the end for most batters at this level. What aided Delhi batters' downfall was a swing that RCB got. For example, the one to Parag was a searing Yorker that swung in late from Bhuvi. But what made it that much more difficult to face was the delivery just before that one, which swung slightly away from the left-handed batsman. The rest of that first Bhuvi over saw the ball go both ways as well, which brings us to the first ball of the second over. Rahul and Rana had seen what Bhuvi got the ball to do. He got the ball to move around at will, and Hazlewood is known to do something similar of the pitch as well. Instead, he surprised Rahul with that bouncer of the first ball. Sameer Rizvi, who walked out at 4, had his feet stuck to the crease, having watched that previous bouncer at Rahul, which isn't much of a problem though, not in this format, as we have often seen with guys like Sanju Samson as well. But it becomes a challenge when the ball starts to move around, and that's exactly what this one did. Hazlewood, having just bowled a vicious bouncer at Rahul, pitched this one right up to Rizvi, outside the off. There was enough movement on the ball. and none on Rizvi's feet. A drive went straight to hand behind. By this time, a team that had scored 264 in the previous game for the loss of just 2 wickets, and they had lost that match as well, was down to 2 for the loss of 3, and their jangling nerves combined with that consistent movement right through the end of their spells ensured that more wickets were to fall before the power play ended. There was no coming back from there, and for the second match in a row, a team had made it 3 losses in a row, Super Giants having done that yesterday. RCB, on the other hand, now are sitting pretty with 6 wins from 8 games and looking harder and harder to beat because of the presence of an all-round team. The only semi-chinks in their lineup could be their backup bowling, but they have done a solid backup job as well, that bowling. A Krunal Pandya, a Rasik Salam, or even a Suyash Sharma might not run through oppositions, but are no much with the ball either. Suyash, in fact, has conceded just 7.8 runs an over all season, 5th best economy for those who have bowled at least 10 overs this season. Delhi Capitals probably needs a little bit of a break, to paraphrase Rishabh Pant, what he had said after his match the previous night. Or as Piyush Chawla said on his ESPN Cricket Info show, they need to sit together, discuss about it, and they have to start fresh. I so wish for Delhi's sake it turns out to be that simple. So that's that from me. Do like the video, do subscribe to it as well, it really helps the channel. Until next time, bye-bye.